Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been almost 2 weeks since the last time I ever updated you guys with anything or made some kind of video. So I'm just gonna go right into it. Today's topic is faith stretching situations or little mini trials. I just want to touch base on that because for the past couple of months, certain things have been going on in my life on the work front. I can't really get into detail, because I'm not here to throw anybody under a bus, but there have been changes at work, and there were some situations as to where I was nervous, about, and there are times as where I've prayed to God about these situations, several times a day. I believe I did mention that in a couple of my videos. So, when I'm going to the Lord, more than once a day about a particular issue or situation, it's something pretty major. Could be something serious, depending on how one looks at it. So, certain things have swung in my favor on the work front, and I'm happy about that. And to me, I see them as blessings. I was nervous about certain things going on, but I feel like once everything, came and went and finally passed through, I say to myself, well, why was I so nervous about? Like, what was I so nervous about? I can't believe I was nervous about this, that, and another thing. And it's not just work; it's other situations that have gone on in my life, and yeah, it never pays to worry. I mean, worrying about anything really never does any good, and I feel like when I was in these situations at work or observing certain things, I feel like, I don't want to say there were many trials, although sometimes I feel like they were. But I see it as God stretching my faith. They're like faith stretching situations. I mean, nothing bad happened, thankfully. Nothing negative happened, thankfully. And I praise and worship God for that, for his outcome and his wellness in these situations. On the home front, things have been pretty calm for the most part. There are certain things that have gone on in my home that are, again, like faith-stretching situations, and not to get too personal, but things have gone on between my mother and grandmother. In layman's terms, they don't always get along. They have a rocky relationship, let's just put it that way. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I've witnessed certain things, I've heard about certain things going on in my home front. And it's not always pretty. I hate saying that, it's not always pretty. Sometimes there's a lot of tension, sometimes there's a lot of, like, drama. And, like, I try to stay away from that kind of stuff as much as I possibly can. I have been really writing down my prayers in my prayer journal. In this one. And this is as far as I got so far. So, yeah, I probably will finish this one within the next 2-3 weeks. Something like that. I started this August 25th. It's my number 34 prayer journal. But I haven't, like, really writing my heart out, in prayer form. Like, I write down my prayers to the Lord in my prayer journal. So, and a lot of it having to do with, I mean, I would say at least 90% having to do with work situations. And look, I don't question why these things are happening. It's more like I think to myself, uh-oh, here we go again, type of thing. And it's not anything serious, but it's more like, okay, why can't everything run smoothly? That type of mindset is what I'm trying to have. And ideally things running smoothly seems like I don't want to say standard, but the perfect solution, but that doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately. So I feel like I was saying before, I feel like God has been stretching my faith over the past few months, at least since July. And you know that I've been in the season of waiting, and I feel like I'm in the season of waiting, but also I'm still being pruned by the Lord. The whole pruning thing is just an ongoing thing. This is never going to stop because conversion never stops. And to kind of think of it, I've been at church a couple times, and when they were doing the sermon at my church service, they touched base on things like that. As a matter of fact, this morning when I was at the church service, they said something along the lines that conversion is an ongoing thing, and it is. And God doesn't cause suffering. He allows certain things to happen in our lives, whether it's suffering, whether it's good, the bad, the ugly, anything in between. And of course, my being 44 years old now, I could attest to that because I've been through really rocky stuff in my whole entire life, ever since I was a baby, actually. And it's not been easy. And getting into self-pity isn't worth it. I mean, it's easy to fall into that trap. I fall into that trap at least half the time. And I don't want to. But by the grace of God, I kind of pull myself away from that. And I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't feel sorry for myself, but develop a sense of gratitude. And I'm grateful that God has been stretching my faith, especially on the work front, especially when it comes to like things that are going to work. And in the family, and in my personal life. So I'm grateful for that. I can't complain about that. It's not always comfortable being pruned by the Lord, but He wants us to abide in Him. That's the thing. And when we abide in the Lord, He will prune us. And it's not just like cutting people off from your life. It does include that, but it's like dropping like old ideas, dropping old habits, dropping old mindsets. It's basically off with the old, on with the new type of thing. And oftentimes that will happen, and oftentimes that God will take away something good from us to give us something better. And sometimes when I'm in situations like that, I feel like the rug was pulled from underneath of my feet, but I know that that's not what's going on, although it feels like that. There are times where I've been in situations that something all of a sudden just boom snap happens, and I'm like wait a minute, what just happened here? What's going on? So whenever that happens, I bring it to the Lord in prayer, and I just pray about it. And I open my heart and mind and soul to the Lord in prayer, because that's very important. And I'm very grateful that, I am where I am now, and I feel more at ease with what's going on. Although there are times where I still feel like doubtful, I still feel sometimes anxious, but I let go of that quickly. I try not to hang on into any of that extra baggage, and I just give it over to the Lord and let Him stretch my faith. Bye. I hope you have a nice night. I'll be back with another video sometime shortly.